The Trump playbook, forget spreadsheets, forget strategy. President Donald Trump says that he'll decide tariff exemptions based on gut feel, not data. You almost cannot take a pencil to paper. In fact, he also adds that it's really more of an instinct. Today, it's smartphones off the tariff list. Tomorrow, it could be semiconductors, and who knows what's next. For countries the likes of India exporting textiles, auto parts and tech hardware, this unpredictability stings because this is not just a policy, it's a shift away from a rule-based system. Let's go across and listen in to what Donald Trump had to say in his reply to the reporters when asked about the factors of determination when it comes to tariff exemption.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Sir, would you consider exempting some U.S. companies, maybe some larger companies who have been hit hard in the markets the last few days during this 90 days?
As time goes by, we're going to take a look at it. There are some that have been hard. There are some that, by the nature of the company, get hit a little bit harder, and we'll take a look at that, yeah.
How do you determine the next 90 days?
Just instinctively, more than anything else. I mean, you almost can't take a pencil to paper. It's really more of an instinct, I think, than anything else.
Well, that's the word coming in from US President Donald Trump. Let's also listen in to Rajkamal Rao, who's the managing director of Rao Advisors, and his views in the global op-ed space.
For the first time, we are witnessing a truly executive presidency. I've never seen anything like it. There is a small team led by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and Navarro, and we don't know where Navarro is, and Lutnick and a few others. But largely, this is a very, very closeted group of people. High-level decisions are made, and then Trump goes and announces them. So as regards how it will help or hurt India, this is where it is. Unless, India actually sends a high-level team to sit down, negotiate, and put these things down on paper, this uncertainty will exist for India.
Rather than moving on, the World Trade Organization has fired a warning shot. The global trade outlook has deteriorated sharply after Trump's tariff spree and escalating policy uncertainty, and after a solid 2024 where world trade grew nearly 3%. The WTO in fact now expects merchandise trade to contract 0.2% this year. That's a 3-point drop coming in from earlier forecasts as well. North America's exports, in fact, are set to plunge 12.6%. And things could also get worse if suspended. You do have the reciprocal tariffs that are enacted and trade policy uncertainty that spreads. World trade could shrink by 1.5%. The WTO also says that least developed nations will bear the brunt. What was also shaping up to be a global rebound now risks becoming a global rollback.
Next up, let's get you an update from the chip space. Now, AMD is bracing for an $800 million hit as new US export curbs block advanced chip sales to China. Now, a key processor is now restricted, with AMD saying it may apply for licenses, but there's no guarantee yet. Now remember, just as the day earlier, Nvidia also flagged a massive $5.5 billion charge under the same rules. Now China, which is a key market for both of the companies, made up nearly a quarter of AMD's sales in 2024.
Rather than moving on, more warnings coming in when it comes to US Inc. Alcoa expects US tariffs on aluminium imports from Canada to cost the company about $90 million in the current quarter. Remember that their imports are subjected to 25% tariffs, which currently result in approximately $100 million negative for their business, and that's the word coming in from their CEO as well. In fact, the aluminium producer also said that the tariffs on Canadian imports had cost the company roughly $20 million when it comes to the first quarter.
Here's an economic update from Japan. Well, Japan's export growth missed expectations in March, rising just 3.9%. It's a sharp drop from February's 11.4% surge. Now, exports to the US grew 3.1% that is, but the numbers reflect only partial impact of the new US steel and aluminium tariffs that came into place. Now, remember, auto tariffs also kick in next month unless Trump makes a U-turn. And with that, cars making up 28% of Japan's US exports, bigger hits may be coming.
Rather than moving on, Japan is one of the allies that the US has been in constant talks with. In fact, Trump said on Wednesday that there's been big progress in surprise tariff talks when it comes to Japanese officials in Washington jumping into negotiations himself. Trump, in fact, expanded the agenda beyond trade, bringing up military costs and currency issues as well. Now, you do have Treasury and Commerce secretaries also joining the meeting, so that's an important meeting coming in, right?
That's right. Now moving on, US Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife Usha Vance will travel to India next week. His office has announced. Now Vance and the second family will travel to Italy and India from April 18th to April 24th. The Vice President will discuss shared economic and geopolitical priorities with leaders in each of the countries. That's according to a statement from the office of the US Vice President. Now in India, Vance will visit New Delhi, Jaipur and Agra early next week. As per the statement, the Vice President will hold meetings with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He and his second family will also participate in engagements at cultural sites. Now, the visit to India will be Usha's first time visiting her ancestral country as the second lady. That's as per a report in the Politico.
Well, absolutely. That's an important visit to take a look at. But tell you,
if you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.